Yo, this, and I just wanted to give up my. But first, I just wanted to also say that sorry I haven't been on. I got really sick for a while, so I got a lot of videos to catch up on. But anyways, I wanted to just give my little bit on this whole setting Mac OS 10 free. Well, here's the thing. When I look at Macs, I consider all Macs, including the Hackintosh Macs. And I should really say more of Mac versus Windows, in my honest opinion, because I just hate Microsoft and Windows because of the simple fact that when Microsoft has been more involved in lawsuits and lying and scamming, and they've really shown corruption in their corporation more than anyone I've ever seen. Does Apple? Yeah, but nobody in the computer industry matches up as high as doing backstabbings and getting into lawsuits and lying customers than Microsoft has. And they've truly excelled into this big time. Now, as for their setting Macs free, I'm going to say this once, I guess, or maybe a few times. I don't care if Macs get free or Mac OS 10 gets free or not. I mean, simple fact is, I'm still going to get me a Mac with the Mac OS 10 on it, or how I see it. But that's what I'll do. I mean, if you're going to go get a Mac Hackintosh, then go get a Hackintosh. I don't care. I mean, not a because I really don't 100% agree with it. But as far as, well, thank you, Mac. As far as I see this whole, if Mac's gonna open up like EMIC and saying that it's gonna fail and hurt Apple, or Mr. Bit saying it's gonna succeed, truthfully, I don't know. I really do not know if this is going to be beneficial for Mac or PC, or for Apple at all. I mean, sorry, I meant for Apple at all. I don't know if it's going to benefit them at all. I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to. No offense, EMIC or Mr. Bit. Either way, I just don't know. So, yeah. Unless I had a crystal ball or the Apple DeLorean or maybe the ability to hop in multiple universes and see how these things turn out, I couldn't tell you which way it would turn. And as far as hold on. I mean, I'm not a real big fan, and I admit that I'm not a big fan of custom PC market because I've worked in the custom PC market, and I pretty much wanted to. I've had more feelings of getting on top of the building and just jumping off and landing face first in the concrete, so I wouldn't have to live through this shit anymore. Because I honestly feel that the Apple retail marketing really needs to have some regulations put on it. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me, or agree, but it really does because it's chaos. It's utter chaos if you get into the retail business of custom PC. That's what killed CompUSA too. Of course, they also put on all that high tech shit and HD crap, and the inevitable happened. Uh, but I couldn't say for less what would happen to Mac. And as for gaming, like I said, I don't care about these super hyped up games. I mean, you take two Dells with all the same internal junk. One has Linux and the other has Windows. Your Linux is going to go, or Ubuntu. The Ubuntu is going to go faster. Plain and simple. You know, but Windows will run slower, and there's a reason. And OpenGL, that's pretty much open to everybody. And with DirectX, you only really got two choices, so that's pretty much fucked. You're pretty much fucked with that from start one, which just shows Microsoft and how proprietary. Now, as for if Apple's a Mac or hardware, I'm gonna say this: it's both. They made great hardware, and they do make great software. And I've always considered them to be both. And as for Microsoft being a software company, that was true for back then. As for Microsoft being just a software company now, that is no longer true. Microsoft has been investing in themselves to make more and more hardware But now that they're making both the Zune and the Xbox, they're pretty much technically both a software and a hardware company now. And I honestly believe that they become this software and hardware company, and that that Microsoft is tending to become more like Apple in these sort of dimensions. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I know that this will make every PC guy yell at me, but I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly down the road, Microsoft says, let's make our own hardware computers and let's make an OS that only works on them. And if, I mean, that's an if, but if that ever happens, man, I'm getting outside my door and I'm just going to put my hand to my ears and listen to every PC guy out there yell, no, as loud as they can. It will be the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because, Microsoft is tending to become this lockdown system and they're locking more and more of their shit down. And Windows 7 has a lot of these lockdowns in it now. And they're running with DRMs and higher DRMs. And they're putting GPS trackers in there now. I mean, shit, dude. Microsoft is literally starting to become more and more enclosed, and they are now a hardware company. Not as big as Apple, but they're making Xboxes and Zunes, even though the Zunes suck, and the Xbox's 360 has a long, loud noise and tends to overheat a lot. But this is true. I mean, yes, you can disagree. I mean, you're allowed to. No one says you can't. But I tend to believe it. Microsoft is coming more and more locked down with their ideas and their software and and starting to lock down on more of their hardware. And technically, I see pretty much. I see all the gaming consoles as OMEs now, anyways. Power PC OMEs, because I do see the Power PC chip as an OME, just a different type of processor than AMD and Intel. But that's just the way I feel about that. But, you're allowed to disagree and tell me I suck. I don't care. Well, that's it.